Hello everyone, my name is Karond and welcome to this new series that we are starting here with the first episode, where we're going to go through progression leagues and how to play the PvEs and be good at progression leagues. And typically I do play in these kind of tournaments and I tend to get ahead quite a bit. And we're gonna see how that is. I'm not participating in this particular tournament, Mordheim Faction Chronicles, which gives us an excellent point of view of how I play the game when I don't have to worry about all of my opponents looking at my YouTube videos to try and tailor their warbands to me, which they almost always do. So here we just get some insight about how I think and how I do this. I am not typically a fan of doing let's play videos. I don't think that they add anything to the game really. But we're gonna do a form of let's play anyway with a guide element. So we're actively trying to help out here. So let's start out with the Mordheim Faction Chronicles, the tournament we're going to go through. It's different for every kind of progression league, but here we have the rules laid out before us. We know that we're going to play 21 PvE missions, that's important. We know we're going to start at the rank 5, so we start with 10 characters already. And we also know that we're going to get a bonus. Yeah, this is the total 21. There is an option to get 22, and I expect most players to get that, but we're going to count on 21 for now. The most important thing about this tournament is that every character is available, so we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And we also have hired swords available, which is for the first 4 PvPs. That's the first 6 games, and then the next 5 and next 5 and next 5 we can only hire Possessed Dregs, Night Runners, Augurs, Youngbloods, Witch Hunter heroes from the hired sword list, and then we can hire all leaders, and then we can hire all henchmen, and then everything. So we're gonna have that in mind and plan for it with a reasonable calculation, because it's not always so that you end up with the hired swords you want, but we can make a wide estimate and get all the good stuff in as soon as we can. Alright, that is it. So without further ado, let's go through and look at one of the an Excel document here. So I do one of these every time I start playing, and this is to calculate about how much XP I'm expecting to get and what to do with them. So I do expect that since we're playing 21 PvE totals, I think that we're gonna start with 1 normal. We can't avoid that. That's the first mission. We're gonna play mostly deadlies. And I do expect that sometimes we might not be able to get a deadly, and we don't want to skip too many days ahead. So we're gonna do at least probably 4 brutals. Something like that. I have started with an assassin, 2 globadiers, a rat ogre, 4 warp guards, and a verminkin. So I'm playing as the Skaven because they are thought to be the weakest warband of them all, and also I've never really played Skaven competitively. Skaven is not a bad warband, it's just that they are more dependent on the books of training than any other warband in the game. They are so dependent on that for their competitiveness, and they are really lacking when they don't have them. And that's typically because they need the extra books to get toughness up to 12 for exhaustion and so forth. At least in the current meta as it is played. So I've started out listing here level 10. That means how much XP a character needs to get to level 10. Should be 0. Then I have the current XP, so we're going to do some updates every now and then and see where they are. How much XP they have gotten. So for example, if say we play this first mission, we're gonna get 6 XP from 2 survival, 3 objective and 1 decisive. And if you don't get a kill, you get 6. Let's say he gets 2 kills, he gets 8, and so forth. Then we can see how much XP we have left to go. Also gonna do an estimation depending on this thing about what kind of XP we are expecting to get at each level, and then see how much we are on track for that. So for example, if I'm expecting to play this kind of sequence, I will expect, let's say we have a globadier. After we have played 5 PvEs, we should have 6 XP from the first one, 9, 9, 9, 9 if we do all deadlies. And that is a total of 42 XP. So we're gonna see if we are above that or if we are below that. And if we're above that, it's usually because we're doing some kills with the Globadier, and if we get enough kills on them, we know that we can sideline the character to make use of the XP later on. This is an important principle that we're going to have to learn throughout this series, which means that you can see here, if we're going to play all of these missions, eventually we're going to end up with, let's see, that's not actually factually correct. So we have 6, we have 4 times 8 for the brutals, and then we have 16 times 9 for the deadlies, and that is a total of 182. So we know we're gonna get 182 XP on pretty much every single character. Oh. And that seems pretty decent when you look, but when you look at the, for example, the warp guards, they max out at 163. So each mission that we play when we are maxed out already, that is XP that we have lost. So with that in mind, we are going to make all of the Verminkin and the warp guards, all the henchmen, we're gonna cycle them. So what that means is we're gonna look at their expected XP, and then we're gonna bring, as soon as we come to the 3rd cycle, when we have can hire a hired sword henchman, I think he needs to be around level 4, 5, 6, something like that in the end. And then we bring in that 6th henchman for the PV. We take one of them, one of the warp guards out. We bring in the 6th henchman instead, and then we play one mission, and then we put this guy back, and then we take the next guy out, and still keep the 6th henchman in, and we keep doing this. And eventually we should end up, after we've done the 21 total PVs, we should end up almost exactly at level 10 by that time. And the advantage of that is that then we have 5 henchmen at level 10 and also a 6th henchman at level 10. In the same fashion, we're gonna do it with all of the heroes. I don't think we can get the assassin up to level 10, but especially if we get a sorcerer leader. We're gonna want him to be around 6-7 to be able to do well enough. But if we get him to 6-7 or something, if we can hire a hired sorcerer leader on cycle 2, that would be fantastic. It's also gonna figure really well with the rat ogre here. But if we can get him at 6-7, I think we might level him up enough to maybe get in a hired sword assassin as a secondary leader if he gets to level 7 or something like that. So we're gonna see about this. My plan for this warband is to try and have as few kills as possible on all of the henchmen to make the cycling more efficient. Then we are going to maximize the amount of kills that the rat ogre gets. So if we say, for example, that the rat ogre is gonna play for around, I think around 12 missions, that should be when we are coming around to 12-13 missions. That should be around when we can actually hire anything we want. Isn't that true? No, that's when we can actually hire from cycle 3 onwards. That's cycle 3. So 1, 2, and 3. It means we can get Knight Runner at that point. We can get Lascott Talent Warp Guards. And that's basically it. But it's still good enough. So if we get the Rat Ogre, we put all of the kills on him for, let's say, 12 missions. So we have 6 and we have 11 times 9 for all deadlies. And then let's say we get around 5 kills for each of these. So we're boosting him with 5 kills on each of these missions. That will end up 165, so that's still not enough. What did I put? 9, 11... He's also going to get, we already know it, if he's gonna put all of these kills on him, he's gonna get the best, most important warrior for the match. So we can already figure out that it's gonna be 10 for him. So that's 176, and that is perfect. He matches out at 178, so if we can get 5 kills on average and plus 2 extra, then we'll have him at the 12th mission. Let's write that down, 12th mission. The Rat Ogre is going to be level 10. At that point, we take out the Rat Ogre and we put in 2 heroes. First hero reserve, second hero reserve. And then we level them up like crazy and focus the XP on them. And then they are also going to be level 10. And every now and then, if we get one of the hero reserves early, like for example a Night Runner early on, we can take out a Globadier that is having too much XP put on him due to kills that are necessary to take, and just cycle him out for one game, put in the Night Runner to get a little bit of an advance. So what we want to do is get the level 7 character here, but the good thing about the Night Runners is that we don't really need to get him for cycle 1, we can get him for cycle 2 or cycle 3, so we can just wait out a little bit and see when we have the option to get a decent Night Runner that we want, a level 7 without any injuries preferably. Same thing with the warp guards here, but they're gonna come in a bit later. We might be able to delay some of these things. Maybe we stop leveling the Rat Ogre for a while and bring in some other units. We will see. But I think it's a sound plan. I think we can get this amount. And this is obviously another hero that we're going to cycle in every now and then if we can. We'll see. We're going to do some more follow-ups on this that is reasonable to follow. I know I'm a little bit chaotic right now because I haven't really prepared this presentation. But you will see as we go along how we can do it and how we're gonna play it. I have an XP counter here. It basically means that it's counted after the PvPs. So after we have done one PvP, we will have done 2 PvEs. That's what the tournament is about. So they have 1 normal, so that's 6 XP, and then 1 deadly, 9 XP more. It's 15, and it just keeps counting up. So I always know what to put here on the expected XP when we do the follow-up for this. So we're gonna go into some of the PvEs in the next episode. But for now, I think it just suffices to say that I think this is a decent plan. I think doing this kind of plan, we're going to end up with a strong team with a sorcerer leader guiding the Rat Dogger, 2 Globadiers to smoke people out of houses, which they're invariably going to hide in. We have 4 warp cards, we have a Verminkin, we're going to get a 6th henchman. I'm leaving that open. It could be a Verminkin or a warp guard. If it's going to be a Lad's Got Talent warp guard here, then it's going to be a Verminkin as the 6th henchman. So we're going to wait and see. Some hero reserves could be 2 Night Runners. It could also be, maybe we can even get one of the late ones. A Doomweaver would be pretty nice to have. Maybe a Black Skaven. We will see what we can do. Or one of them is a Lad's Got Talent warp guard. All of them are solid choices, and it just gives us a little bit of a variety. I think most players that go into this, they're not really calculating like this, so they're going to end up with the team that they started with, while we are going to aim for some reserves to throw opponents off. And the most important thing when you're doing reserves is that you don't just want reserves for the hell of it. You want reserves that are impactful in certain matchups. For example, the Doomweaver is a really good, impactful unit against magic-heavy warbands like the Sisters and the Mercers. They're gonna spam lightning and comets because it's super easy to play and doesn't require any real skill to play. So you have to have a lot more skill to play around that than playing with it. So having a Doomweaver can help with that kind of counterplay. Another thing I'm thinking about is the Night Runners, which can be really good as poison units. Globadiers can as well, but the Night Runners can do some things that we might not be able to see otherwise. Same thing if we started bringing in Lad's Got Talent warp guards, which could be a nice substitute for the Rat Dogger, and then we bring in a 4th hero. That's going to be useful as well in some instances. We might also think of making the Night Runner or Lad's Got Talent's warp guards into something that's different from the poison focus on the Globadiers. Maybe we don't want the Night Runner to have focus, maybe a poison focus. Maybe we want him to be specified to be a very tanky character that can hold up all of the impresses that we're gonna see, which is likely going to be the Crypt Horrors and the Maidens. So maybe we can have I'm just throwing something out here, but I think it's not impossible to get a 70 to 90 melee resistant Night Runner with mastered sidestep, for instance. It's gonna hold up a unit for a very, very long time, and specifically to target a Maiden or a Crypt Horror. So it could be good. So we're gonna think about those things when we do get the options to recruit some units. But I think I've talked enough as it is. Let's just enjoy the following episodes, and we're gonna do some updates as it comes along, and hope you enjoy watching the series. Thank you for watching so far, and see you in a little while.